Good evening, I'm Adventure Argonaut. This is the Golden News. And these are, of course, the news of what happened this week, last week, and whatever week. No, actually, it's just, basically last week. I'm just rambling while I'm checking the streams. Don't cross the streams. Oh, damn, I failed the Ghostbusters lesson. I have too many streams. Rumble, what are you doing? Are you working? No, you're not. Okay, now it's working. Okay, I think all my streams, Kick, Twitch, Rumble, Party, everything's working. Okay, so let's get to the first story. Wait, I'm gonna check one more thing. Yes, I should also post my social media, Twitter and Gab and stuff. Okay, so let's get to the first story. So that's what happened. Well, I heard about it this morning, but I guess it happened basically yesterday in Europe. Marine Le Pen was arrested. The woman who almost became French president like 4 years ago or whenever the election was. And there were some signs there might have been some irregularities in those elections, which led to the alleged Uncle Fucker Macron's victory. But anyways, here it says French far right, quote unquote far right leader Marine Le Pen barred from seeking office for 5 years, a political earthquake. So yeah, a French court on Monday convicted Marine Le Pen of embezzlement and barred her from seeking public office for 5 years, a hammer blow to the far-right leader's presidential hopes and an earthquake for French politics. Le Pen's lawyer said she would appeal the verdict, but she will remain ineligible while she does and so could be ruled out for the 2027 presidential race. She was also sentenced to 4 years imprisonment, with 2 served under house arrest and 2 suspended. So at least she doesn't have to go to um, jail. Actually, like that's sort of good for her, but like not for France because like I guess this is like the in some sense this simple fact that she actually doesn't have to go to jail is like I don't know, highlights the corruption in all of this because plenty of people are saying that this sounds a bit sus that her alleged embezzlement just sounds like an excuse to get rid of political opposition in France. And that's probably what it is. Of course, I'm not an expert on the details of the case or anything or French politics, so of course I might be missing something. However, but like this fact that that she doesn't have to go to jail, that is just house arrest and suspended, half and half. It either means that that she's not really guilty of any heinous crimes, but they're just using it so she cannot run for president in the next election, or if she actually is guilty, and because she is still part of the ruling class, part of the elite, even though she's sort of maverick or whatever, then she doesn't have to go to jail. So it smells rotten either way. But yeah, that's just how the cookie crumbles in the West nowadays. Like I was already sick and tired of all this, hypocrisy. Like back in 2008 when there was the Olympics in Beijing in China, and the occasionally back then the media was saying like, oh, China human rights violations, and like implying it doesn't happen in the West, and now it's that stuff is even more blatant. And that's not to say that China is like perfect or anything, but it's like, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones and all that bullshit. And we just, how far we've fallen even from, like, that, from 2008, like the West, I mean. And uh and yeah, there's this guy Mike Pence saying, so yeah, they Unreal, they took the opposition. I don't know who this guy is. I probably heard of him, but don't really know. Anyways, Marine Le Pen, who is currently leading in opinion polls for the 2027 election in France, has been sentenced to 4 years in prison, banned from running next election. So Marine Le Pen in France, Bolsonaro in Brazil, Imran Khan in Pakistan, Matteo Salvini in Italy, Donald Trump in America, Calin Ceausescu in Romania. The criminal prosecution of every populist challenger is a dagger in the heart of the credibility of democracy. Yeah, it is a joke. Um, like the democracy in West nowadays is a complete joke. But hey, maybe that's the good thing. Maybe that's the friends we made along the way. Because like the saddest part isn't that the establishment, is this crooked and corrupt and all that. I think the real sad part is that I think most Europeans really don't care. Like, because it it speaks to the fact that we are really not all created equal, and some people will just, they cannot distinguish between, like, if the establishment says, that what they perceive to be the establishment says that, um, X is true, and then they will assume that that is indeed the truth. Like, they uh, lack the ability to even distinguish between, between actual fact and claims of the establishment, whether the establishment is the political establishment or the religious establishment or the so-called scientific establishment. Whatever the authority says is true, because otherwise the authority would not be saying it. And of course there are people who don't like it, but they know that there's not much they can do, because their neighbors don't fucking care about this sort of stuff. And I'm pretty sure there's other people made a few more examples, like a few more countries with similar kind of methodology. And that's not to say that, even if Le Pen or Bolsonaro or whoever, would win the election, that the countries would necessarily turn out much better, slightly better maybe, but not, really turn them around. But Europe is a joke. I wish it wasn't. I am European myself, and I'd like to make Europe great again. But the first step to that is to realize how fucking crooked, like, the average person in Europe is, or like how um, lacking in balls or unique thoughts they are, and somehow, I don't know, revitalize the spirit of Europeans, whatever. I don't know, this sort of pisses me off, and it's concerning, but let's just move on. And then RFK Jr. blackmailed, question mark. So this is more hearsay, at least as far as I can tell so far. But okay, this is what Grok. I just, I googled this matter or used another search engine. I try to avoid using Google too much, and this is one instance of it I found. So RFK blackmail controversy, is Israel allegedly involved? Recent social media posts and discussions allege that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is being blackmailed by Israel over a supposed sex tape to influence his public statements regarding Israel. These allegations have sparked various reactions online, with some posts questioning the credibility of RFK Jr.'s support for Israel. No official or verified sources have confirmed these claims, highlighting the speculative nature of these discussions. Yes, okay. And there's this Ian Carroll. He's also talking about this, and he mentioned like Candice Owens' video. So yeah, blackmail certain people at the highest levels of American politics right now in 2025. Buckle up, is about to get weird. Well, that's something we've known for a long time, long before Ian Carroll um, like hatched from the incubation chamber. But like it is good if people are talking about these matters openly. Then they're not just dismissed as crazy conspiracy theories. But anyway, here's the Candice Owens video. This 1 hour. I'm not gonna play it, but she mentions a couple of weird women who have supposedly something to do with the alleged blackmail. So journalists Olivia Newsy and Jessica Mann. I think there was somebody else. I don't know. Like I'm just pointing this out. If you want to watch the video yourself, you can do so. Who is controlling RFK Jr.? That's the video name. And yeah, here. Hey guys, I think RFK might be getting blackmailed by Israel. You never would have guessed it. Yeah. Yeah, his expression does seem interesting, but like the question is, of course, like if he is being blackmailed, like what did he do that they can hold over him? Did he do something heinous? Hey, Mr. Apu Apustaya in the chat, welcome. And then there's this short clip. Let's just listen to it.
You weren't ever on Jeffrey Epstein's jet, were you?
I was on Jeffrey Epstein's jet 2 times.
You weren't ever on Jeffrey
Yeah,
Epstein's
I don't know
jet,
how
were you?
well you can hear it.
I was on Jeffrey Epstein's jet 2 times.
So you were never on Jeffrey Epstein's jet, were you? I was on Jeffrey Epstein's jet 2 times. Like, okay, I guess there's two obvious different ways to look at it. First is that well, the first one is of course that okay, it is sus. What does it mean? But like okay, maybe it means because he is admitting it. Jeffrey Epstein was a businessman, and maybe he just wanted contacts, and maybe they hobnobbed together, but didn't do anything else. But then again, it's uh, I never met Jeffrey Epstein. I was never on his jet or anything. Like I do think anybody who knew Jeffrey Epstein, more than met him once in a party or something. Yeah, these circles. I think it's very difficult to stay clean if you move in certain circles. Like let's put it another way. If you're a sewage worker and you work in the sewers every day, you're gonna smell like shit when you go home. And kiss your wife and kids and all that. So yeah, could he really stay clean? And there's this guy, whoever Joey Manorino, whoever he is, saying apparently RFK Jr. is going to have a sex scandal. I don't care. Not even 5% do I care. He's a man, he's red blooded, he's fit, he's a Kennedy. Of course, women throw him the cat left and right. I actually am glad when these politicians have sex scandals with women. It shows they're not screwing kids. Well, that's a good point. If indeed this is just like maybe he cheated on his wife. That's not good. That's not admirable. But compared to these pederasts, yeah, it is quite admirable actually. Okay, we had Biden in the White House for 4 years, and the only sex scandal he ever had was molesting his daughter in the shower when she was underage. Sniffing half the population of children in America. Spare me the outrage that Kennedy slept with some women. Don't care. Make America healthy again. Well, okay, there's another way of looking at it. Like, okay, if he is being blackmailed by, Israel or people like that over some sex scandal with some random woman, and if it's made public, then they have no hold over RFK anymore, right? and then he can say whatever he wants, and he doesn't have to fear about blackmail, right? Isn't that how it's gonna supposed to work? Well, we'll see. What's going on here? So, congrats Stephanie Spear on being sworn in as RFK Jr.'s right hand at HHS, the health service. I know, Hitler Health Service. Stephanie is an amazing leader and a great friend. So, congrats Stephanie Spear on being sworn in as RFK. Blah blah blah. Okay. And here is this, yeah. So this guy is some Rabbi Shmuley, some rabbi who is he owns a dildo store with his daughter. That's something I hear many people point. So I don't know, like, why does he seems to be around, everybody, like everybody in U.S. politics and stuff. So why is this guy so influential on our politicians? I know he runs a sex shop with his daughter. Makes you wonder what he's up to. Yeah. Yeah, does RFK look happy or a bit concerned here? Like his smile. And RFK Jr. warns if we don't support Israel, China could blackmail the world. So yeah, here's 1984. Isn't it ironic, don't you think? A little too ironic? And yeah, I really do think. Yeah, because it's like, okay, the implications here. Like if RFK Jr. actually said that, and this was like 2 years ago. So does it mean that, if we don't support Israel, Israel won't be the master of blackmail anymore. It's going to be China, and that's bad or something. Like, I don't know. Like, is it going to be better if China blackmails you? But I certainly don't think having your politicians blackmailed by Israel is good. It hasn't been good so far. And here's more pictures with this guy. The universal symbol for you're compromised. So here's Tulsi Gabbard, Donald Trump, RFK Jr. The Bannon. Who's this guy? Maybe I should recognize him, but I don't. And this is some politician. Yeah, I've seen this guy. I don't remember his name. And also this, yeah, I sort of. The face looks familiar, but don't remember the name. It's Roseanne Barr and this Russell Brand and Zelensky. I like Zelensky doesn't like this guy. Okay, this is like one like for Zelensky just for his expression. He doesn't seem too happy. Okay. Yeah, but that's the RFK stuff. So yeah, that's so far it's just basically allegations, it's rumors, but like it's obvious that the Epstein files and everything that I've said it a few times before that you should assume that every politician in so at least Western countries basically was on Jeffrey Epstein's list or a similar list, unless proven otherwise, because none of them are actually talking about it and saying that we should really make them public and we should put these criminals, indict them and see justice done and all that stuff. Like these people don't seem to care. So either they're, covering for their own asses, or at best they're just afraid, and then they're, cowards, and they're not really leaders or anything like that, and not willing to, sacrifice themselves for their countries or anything like that. But anyways, let's move on. And then Trump's weird Greenland obsession. So yeah, there's this new some propaganda video about taking over Greenland again, and it's like I just don't know why. Like, why is Trump so um, obsessed over Greenland?
Was born, not from treaties or trade, but from blood and bravery. While Germany controlled Europe, the Nazis set their sights on the Arctic. Greenland became an unwitting combatant, and the United States stepped in, not to conquer, but to protect. In 1943, nearly 1,000
Okay, blah blah. I'm not gonna listen to all of that, but it's like, okay, Nazis did something. So whatever happened in Second World War. Like, okay, who else is taking over Greenland right now? Are the Nazis? I don't know. Are Russians trying to take over Greenland? Like, why is Trump so like? I'm still not undecided whether it's just some weird distraction play that trying to keep his enemies focused on Greenland, or is it really like there's something, maybe he found some you know super titanium, whatever is the material in Marvel movies that Captain America's shield is made of vibranium. Is that what it's called? Whatever, maybe there's some super material or some crashed alien spaceship colony there. That's why they want it, or
is the time to
are they
stand.
preparing for a new war or something, or I don't know. Is Jesus gonna come back and he's gonna spawn in Greenland, or what exactly? Like, what's so significant? But it's like there's like either is some distraction bullshit, or there's some like great esoteric secret that plebeians like us are not meant to understand about Greenland, and the secret of Greenland and the spiritual revelations, until we are, until it's time to reveal it to the public. Like, I don't know, but it's just weird to me. Like, am I the only one? Uh, Ancient double hertz. Maybe it's the end of the world and would prove the flat earthers right. It's possible. Let's say for all I know, it's something like that. Maybe not exactly that, but maybe something aching to that. But okay, since you brought it up, like one of my favorite conspiracy theories is um the short season theory. Like, certain small group of Christians believe it, or at least are discussing it. It's because regular Christians are waiting for Jesus to come back and been waiting for it for 2,000 years. But this short season refers to, in the Bible, there's that said that at some point, Satan is let loose, and he is allowed to wreak havoc and deceive the nations for a short season on earth. And after that, then he's thrown away, and stuff like, and that's sometime after the millennial reign of Jesus. So according to this group of Christians, um like the millennial reign of Christ already happened. So basically, that Jesus ruled on earth like in a physical form for 1,000 years, and that has been erased from history. And part of, at least some of that, they say that maybe in the North Pole, that it's not what we think. It's not just ice. There's something else there, and there's the camp of saints where all the saints are there, and they're trying to start a war against the camp of saints, because that's part of, like, the war with Gog and Magog in the Revelations. And that's you know I think that's interesting. I have no clue, like, is it just is there, how much merit is there, or not? Well, I'm gonna say it has more merit than what TV is gonna tell you. Yeah, I think it's good stuff. It's interesting. So, and actually, I've heard somebody mention that, like, in regards to Greenland. So that's why I'm like, maybe there's something to it. I'm not. I don't know, but I do think it's good to have your options open. And speaking of biblical stuff, let's go here. So the Ark of the Covenant, was it found? So yeah, CIA confirmed Ark of the Covenant's existence using remote viewing, resurfaced this classified docs claim. So yeah, they will confirm anything but who really killed JFK. Kaguya's top gal here is saying, yeah. And of course, there's the Graham Hancock, like the sort of alternative historian. I've read several of his books. Uh, One of his, I think, his first like earlier books, it's also like talking about Ethiopia and how they supposedly have the ark, and then, but maybe it used to be in Ethiopia, maybe now it's, yeah. Told you the one at Mar-a-Lago is real. I know James O'Keefe's you're saying so, yeah, because there is this alleged replica of the ark in Mar-a-Lago. Yeah. So I don't know, like, is this another distraction, or are they, heading us somewhere, or like, because some weird, um maybe some real weird biblical things are gonna happen, whether it's literally biblical or biblical in the sense that it's gonna be weird and really, gonna shake people's religious convictions, whatever they are, whether they're staunch atheists, staunch religionists, or something in between. I don't know, but yeah, it's weird stuff is gonna happen. And of course, the well, last week I talked about the stuff discovered supposedly under the pyramid, but as far as I know, that was just made up by somebody basically for attention or cred. But hey, maybe there's gonna be actual solid proof that there is something to that. Maybe it's gonna surface. Not holding my breath though. And yeah, well, this is also sort of biblical. Huge earthquake in Thailand and Myanmar happened, and there were like, I think, over 1,000 dead. So yeah, heartbreaking news. A massive 7.7 quake devastates Mandalay, Myanmar, and impacts Bangkok, Thailand. Threat not for the soft-hearted. Yeah, some temple is quite destroyed. You know, if I see a temple just collapse like that, I wouldn't be standing this close to it as these people. Like, sure, I can understand, like, you want to take a picture of it like I do, but it's might still, there's a breeze and then more of it comes toppling down. Okay, that's going full 9/11, that building. Yeah, Myanmar. It's just going to his footprint. Like, I'm not making any allegations here either way, but it's like it looks like it's falling into his footprint. Like, some buildings on 9/11. Maybe they do that when there's an earthquake, or is this like a demolition? Because there are, like, workers there, so I don't really know what's going on. Uh, yeah, looks bad, but this sort of stuff might be happening more in the near future. So yeah, hundreds trapped under rubble of collapsed buildings as Myanmar earthquake death toll passes 1,600. Yeah. Or is it earthquake weapons? I'm just asking the question because somebody has made the claim, and I'm not mocking it or anything, nor am I particularly promoting it. It's just, I don't know. Like, I just think that things you tend to happen for a reason, whether there is some a physical cause and effect, or spiritual cause and effect, or human action cause and effect. That's what I think. Usually things happen due to a reason of some sort of that is predictable once if you understand the workings of the mechanism. But fortunately, unfortunately, I mean, most of us don't really understand many of these mechanisms, so then they just seem random. But let's move on. And now it's time to remind you that give your all for Israel. And I'm not American, but Israel is my greatest ally, and I will never like. Okay, yeah, yeah. It's Happy April Fools, Happy April Fools, all that stuff. Yeah, yeah. So okay, Israel Delendes. I couldn't do it any further. I have to get take a drink too. Okay, Israel Delendes. So Israel has to be destroyed, and because the political entity, not the people. I guess I should always give the disclaimer. So some reasons why I am not particularly fond of Israel. So there's this. So breaking Mia Shem or Shem, who said Hamas raped her with their eyes, and there are no innocent civilians in Gaza, has now actually been drugged and raped by an Israeli fitness trainer. It's like, what's wrong with her? Like, is this has this picture been altered somehow? Like, her eyes and lips being blown up by Photoshop. And this is the same woman, right? So, and this, like, okay, this is just a screenshot and really bad quality one. So I'm not sure if this is actually legit or not, but it says a rhinoplasty, making a new nose, was recommended by her therapist as a step in her recovery process following her hostage ordeal aimed at boosting her self-esteem since Hamas refused to touch her. So she was a prisoner of Hamas or hostage, and they wouldn't do any naughty stuff with her. So that's why she's thinks I'm so ugly and horrible. Like that. Uh, what can I say? But hey, but for once, genuinely, I think Israel is doing something good. So Israel Defense Force, we thought we'd also hop on the Ghibli trend. So they're also, hopping on, following the Studio Ghibli AI trend, and that's good because all right, guys, it's official. The trend is over. Yeah, I'm not like it was fun for a while, but it was also annoying because for one, for it to work on Chat GPT, the image creation stuff, you have to be a pay pig. And if Chat GPT, if it's really good and worth it, yeah, I wouldn't mind paying $20 or whatever for each month for it. But I still have my hunch that it would be somewhat censored and stuff. And okay, sure, censoring CP and stuff like that is acceptable certainly, but uh, other kinds of censorship, not so much. And there's just this. Okay, what was this? Jews have been manipulating behind the scenes for millennia, but never in their history had they had this much power. Once they captured the United States with banking in 1913, when their coup in the 60s, killing JFK and others, they gained mastery of the West. Blah blah. And there's this. Okay, so President Andrew Jackson narrowly escapes Rothschild assassination attempt January 30th, 1853. I killed the bank, President Andrew Jackson. So wait, I didn't know that Rothschilds tried to assassinate him. Like, I guess I should look more into it. But yeah, it goes even further back in 1853 when they tried to assassinate Andrew Jackson after they assassinated and failed. Then Lincoln, who pulled the central bank charter and instituted greenback after he refused a 32% loan from a Rothschilds. It was all downhill after that. Um, yeah, because the Rothschilds. If you don't know the story, how the family became, filthy rich is during the Napoleonic Wars, like the Battle of Waterloo. Napoleon was in England fighting against the English, and then um, and everybody like at the stock market they knew that Rothschild has the best messengers and stuff, And after the battle was finished, and that was, they didn't have cell phones and stuff, of course, so a word wouldn't leak immediately on the results of the battle that Napoleon, of course, lost. But after supposedly Mr. Rothschild, whatever Rothschild the first name of that guy was, he started selling his stocks, and then the other stock owners saw like, oh fuck, he's selling stocks, so I guess we lost. England lost, so let's sell all our stocks, and then the prices plummeted, and then Rothschild bought all the stocks, and then they found out that England actually won, and then the stocks went up and sky high or something, and then Rothschild basically owned England because of that. At least that's probably a very simplified version of the story, but that's how the Rothschilds are. And I can't, when I tell this story, I can't help but think of some account somebody somewhere just on the internet said that the king of England, or the duke of whatever butt fucks were, should have just marched to the Rothschild manor and beheaded them for this you know cowardly scheme of deceptive scheme. Like, yeah, if we lived in a world like that, the world would be a much better place. Like, these swindlers would get their just rewards with a bit of violence. Okay, and then, but hey, there's some good news. Daily Wire reportedly hires bankruptcy attorney, lays off 25% of staff. So, of course, this is still reportedly, we don't know, but apparently, Daily Wire, propagandists for Israel, basically, they are not doing so well financially and or audience wise. So that's good news, of course. Yeah, okay. Laura Loomer here says the Chinese inflation gets even worse. This is a painful lesson in why betting is so important. I will be publishing the rest of findings soon. So yeah, Chinese inflation of America sounds absolutely out of control. They have brought out our Congress, write laws to hide their crimes, dance at our demise, assassinate JFK, attack the US's liberty, stole our nuclear material, did 9/11, and control our president. What to do? And this is a good song. I've heard this before.
Eines Blümelein und das heißt Erika. Hals von 100.000 kleinen Bienelein wird umschwärmt. Erika.
Yeah, I don't like this edit. It's sort of too confusing. Like the girl singing with the old video. I think it's better if you just separate them. Um, and then there's this. Matt Walsh is trying to be based or something. So Matt Walsh endorsed Representative Thomas Massey's Dual Loyalty Disclosure Act. This obviously should be the policy. In fact, dual citizens should be barred from federal office entirely. All I can say, why is Matt Walsh so anti-Semitic suddenly? Uh, but yeah, it makes sense, I think. Oh yeah, there's this. So let's
The
listen.
marriage of Christianity and Islam, which has killed the Jews and hate the Jews. And Chrislam, they want to be the world's, the one world religion, because they want control of Jewish lands with no Jews in them.
Let me.
And we never talk about it because we're not allowed to.
Well, there's a lot of conversation going on about Israel today. That's for sure.
All bullshit. All 100% Muslim Brotherhood bullshit. That's who controls our media, not the Jews. The Muslim Brotherhood controls our media.
So the Muslim Brotherhood controls media, and Roseanne Barr. If you are not old like me, you might not know who Roseanne Barr is, but she had some TV show in the 80s or 90s, the Roseanne Show or something. Or was it just Roseanne? for some comedy stuff. But it's like I don't know. Is this like April Fool's Day like joke for from her like making an outrageous claim like that? Yes, the Muslim Brotherhood controls everything. So yeah, Israel Delenda Est. Let's move on. A predator sentenced to 10 years. I'm proud of this new neologism or whatever this word. Pedo senator, predator. Um, so yeah, former Republican state senator Ray Holmberg sentenced to 10 years in prison for traveling to Europe over a dozen times to rape young boys. The North Dakota man previously pleaded guilty to traveling with the intent of engaging in illicit sexual activity. Prosecutors say the once powerful lawmaker traveled 14 times from 2011 to 2022 21 to Prague and Czech Republic to pay for sex with young boys. Holmberg allegedly met up with boys who posed as masseuses at brothels. The pervert also allegedly would abuse his position in politics in exchange for sexual favors. Holmberg brought a University of North Dakota student to the school president's suite for hockey games with the intention of engaging in sex. He is also accused of posing as a teen boy in 2012 in an online circumcisions chat room to get pictures of children, including a 16-year-old Canadian boy. The boy later took his own life. Holbrook served for 45 years in North Dakota Senate, didn't resign until 2022. Okay, 10 years sounds low. 10 years for prison, it sounds should be much longer. But I guess, what distinguishes this from the average senator probably is that, he was caught. Like, I'm sure many other senators engage in similar things, but for some reason this guy was allowed to be public. Maybe he was just too incompetent and he made it too obvious, or maybe he angered the wrong person in the clique, and they sort of leaked the info and now he has to pay for it. Or maybe he actually had like a moment of contrition and did actually something according to his conscience, and then he paid the price and his crimes were leaked or something. I don't know, but yeah, this is how you should assume that pretty much any politician, unless proven otherwise, they will have skeletons similar to this in their closet. I just think it's common sense nowadays to assume something like that. All right, but then we get to gaming and entertainment news. So let's move here. So Zelda, they're gonna make a Zelda movie. So it's gonna release in March 26, 2027. So it's 2 years from now. And they say that it's gonna be live action Legend of Zelda movie. And somebody said it's gonna be a trilogy. Well, I guess it's Zelda Triforce. It should be a trilogy simply because of that. But it's probably gonna suck. Like, whether it's woke or not, like how can they not screw up Zelda as a movie? Like, of course, okay. Nowadays, there's been the Super Mario and Sonic movies. I haven't seen any of them, but people tend to like them. So but back in my day, all the game, movies based on games used to suck back in the day, and I just can't believe that it would be a good movie. But hey, if it actually will be a good movie, I'm sure I'd be interested in seeing it. I'm not the biggest Zelda fan, but I don't hate Zelda. I just think it's very like medium, like middle of the road, like Zelda games. They're fun for a while, but then it's like they lack some punch. Like they don't have spice. for me. But yeah, okay. And there are more Nintendo news. Nintendo sues Yuzu, says Zelda was that Tears of the Kingdom was pirated over 1 million times on PC. Nintendo sues so the Switch emulator on the grounds that it unlawfully circumvents game makers' IP by letting you play its games on PC. I don't know. Like, okay, let's say that I buy uh, like I buy a guitar. I buy an electric guitar, and then I don't use it with the speaker or whatever amplifier, and I don't know, I mod my own thingy, like to make the sound more like I don't know, a tuba or something, like can the Gibson or whoever made the guitar, do they have the right to sue me? Like, this just sounds sus to me, and like even on like a legal grounds. Of course, I'm not a freaking lawyer or anything, but certainly, you know, the reasonable response to Nintendo here is shut the fuck up. Just make your games and be happy that people play them and or buy them. Like, I'm pretty sure many people still bought their Zelda game, even though allegedly 1 million people pirated it. Just Nintendo is really trying its best to make me hate it. And yeah, there's this. So yeah, why did I pirate all those games? Somebody is burning in hell. It's like Jesus pirated food. I've actually thought of the same example myself before I saw this. Like, because sometimes I think about it, like how, like artificially they try to prevent people from copying information, data, as much as they could, because it's stupid that if I can like imagine fucking 2000 years ago you had the Bible, or bit less than 2000 years ago, and if people could just copy the Bible without you know painstakingly rewriting all the pages and putting them all together and stuff, like, wouldn't be people would just done it. Like, of course there would be some authorities to say that, oh, you shouldn't spread the Bible, but like, or any book, like, or freaking any books written by Roman emperors or whatever, or cookbooks or whatever. Like, of course, people would just copy it. But nowadays, it's like we have IP, we have corporations, so no, you cannot copy stuff. And then there's, of course, this, Jesus supposedly had, was it 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish? Was that the amount? And then he, multiplied them to feed a huge crowd of people. And yeah, nowadays, if Jesus came and did this, he'd be arrested for violating, McDonald's corporate rights or something. That's kind of society we live in. So that's why they can burn in fucking hell. These fucking corporations, like, you know, I'm really, like, governments are bad, but I'm leaning towards corporations being worse. That's just, I don't know. Like, governments have at least the excuse of being retarded, like partially retarded. But corporations are just like fucking annoying. And yeah, speaking of fucking annoying corporations, Nintendo once again. Nintendo develops the worst DRM of all time, limited digital copies. When you buy a digital Switch game, you only get one card that can be used in a single console. Activated in another console requires the previous console where it was activated to have an active internet connection to eject the card, and you have to wait 2 weeks for auto ejection. Can borrow the game for somebody else, but only one game at a time, and you need to transfer it locally, keeping the consoles close together. Like, okay, at least this, borrowing the stuff to your friends, like that's positive, but okay, then maybe just have the physical cards then. But this is like making it too difficult. Like, okay, if you can borrow it to your friends, why can't you just, I don't know, you buy the game, you can let your friends play it. Like, I don't know, just let's just fucking crash the games market, because anybody who defends this, they don't deserve human rights. Basically, that's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, Ubisoft news. Ubisoft is spinning out its Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six franchises into a new subsidiary backed by Tencent. No word yet on what this means for other Ubisoft franchises, but the company's approximately 19,000 employees. So yeah, their charge have won again. So yeah, they. So I guess Assassin's Creed Shadows wasn't a huge success, and they have to sell out to China. And I wouldn't say it's good news, but Ubisoft getting its rectum violated. That's a positive thing. Otherwise, not necessarily that such a good thing. But you know, fuck Ubisoft too. It's just like the emotion I feel towards Nintendo and Ubisoft is different, because Nintendo, at least I sort of liked Nintendo just a few years ago, but now it's sort of like you were supposed to be the chosen one or something, but now Nintendo is like, no, we're gonna step on the dark side of the force or something. But like Ubisoft, I never liked them, so yeah, they always sucked. Okay, they had some few good games maybe here and there, but generally didn't like them. Okay, and here game director Hideki Kamiya, known for Bayonetta, commented on the situation surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows, stating, "Normal people don't get even the." Hello, anybody here? My stream's just disconnected. Hello, hello. I am live. Am I still live on any platform? Okay, let's see. I might be live on Rumble, but the other platforms seem to be not non-functional. Yes, so okay. Only Rumble stands tall this time. Because something happened to my OBS. I got an error message. Yeah. Oh, Twitch claims it's working. I am not quite sure about. I guess I just not don't have that much stuff to say anymore. So maybe I'll just try to breeze through it. If one platform is functional, that has to be good enough. I'm just flabbergasted. It's actually Rumble. So I don't know. Did I just get hacked by Nintendo and Ubisoft? They sent their hackers to sabotage my stream. Anyways, so yeah, this Bayonetta guy says normal people don't get involved in the Assassin's Creed Shadows controversies. They don't have time for that. They're enjoying the game. So, okay, well, I don't know who can. Well, okay, I enjoyed the game. I last week I showed the clip of the player just crawling on the ground, and the enemies couldn't even hit him. So that I haven't played the game. Okay, just writing on chat. But yeah, I don't know. Like, okay, fuck this guy. Like, well, I haven't enjoyed any Assassin's Creed game, so there. But anyways, so yeah, there's this guy Inzoi, the new Korean sort of Sims killer. So yeah, but some people are complaining that there's no gay couples and stuff. So yeah, they're complaining there's no gay couples and stuff. But hey, sounds good to me. Uh, but uh, I don't know. I'm still distracted by everything. But okay, then supposedly full version of Inzoi now added non-binary options. That's bad. I don't like that. Like, okay, I'm not really the target audience for Inzoi. Like, I'm basically because I have a dick. Only women really like Sims, and if this is gonna be like Sims, like when the first Sims game came out, I had fun playing it for like 2 or 3 days, and also got some mods. I remember I downloaded some like Final Fantasy characters and whatever. But yeah, it's not really my cup of tea. And then there's this. There used to be a bug that allowed you to kill children in the game. So Inzoi developer resolves to strengthen internal review processes following bug, which allowed players to run over and kill children. These depictions are highly inappropriate, do not reflect the intent and values of Inzoi. Like, why can't you uh, if this is supposed to be a simulation of some sort? If kids get hit by cars, they usually die in real life, so it's not a good simulation because you're supposed to uh, like why can't you kill them like, because when I was a kid myself, I really hated it when they tried to protect us from fictional violence and stuff, especially oh no, killing children is bad, but it's a freaking game. Like, sure, maybe you shouldn't give it to small kids or something, but like, why should it be banned? Doesn't make sense to me. Like, sure, you could have the option that to make children immortal if it's too tragic. If you have your virtual family and your virtual kid gets killed and stuff, like, if it's too shocking, then yeah, okay, maybe you could disable it. But hey, I'd like to have it enabled as well. Okay, but there's this news. Persona and Shin Megami Tensei artist Kazuma Kaneko's new game has a card generating AI trained on his own art. So yeah, let's just quickly check this article. So there's some card game dungeon crawler. They're using some Kaneko AI. Was it the AI Kaneko system? So where's this? So yeah, in the interview with 4Gamer, Kaneko and Tsukuyomi, the Divine Hunters producer, revealed that the game incorporates a system called AI Kaneko. As you play, AI Kaneko analyzes your runs, including the actions you take, the enemies you fight, the dialogue choices you make, and based on this information, it generates custom cards with their unique names and effects. The illustrations are generated using a model trained on Kaneko's work. So it actually sounds interesting to me. Like, if it has unique cards, unique graphics, so it's truly like, no two players will have the exact same experience. Then, like, of course, it might be just boring, and don't like the differences might be just cosmetic. Like, it might suck in the end, but it seems innovative in a interesting way. So yeah, maybe I'll try it out when it comes up. But or did it say it's like uh it's coming on, okay, Steam. Yeah. Steam and mobile platforms. Okay, the mobile platforms is sort of like not so intriguing to me, but Maybe it's gonna be interesting. Okay, what's this? Netflix game boss says 8-year-olds aren't dreaming of PlayStation 6. Yeah, look at the younger generation. Are 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds dreaming of owning a PlayStation 6? I'm not sure. Yeah, like yeah, let's go back to the 90s or 90s basically. Like yeah, sure. I think of lots of kids that age. I don't know if they were dreaming necessarily about PlayStation back then, but they certainly were dreaming about owning a Nintendo or Super Nintendo and stuff. But it's like, who is dreaming of owning a PlayStation 6 really? Like who? What's the target audience? Is it older gamers, hardcore gamers? Is it adventure gamers? I don't know, lewd visual novel gamers? Is it children? Like no idea. But yeah, it's at least well, it's Netflix. It's not somebody working for Sony, but I hope Sony understood. Like I guess I used to like PlayStation like over 20 years ago and stuff. So I hope it would be nice to see PlayStation make a comeback of not being retarded. But let's move on. So Palworld is making a dating scene more than just pals for real this time. So last year it was an April Fool's joke apparently, but now they're actually making a dating sim. So if you actually can have lewd stuff with it, it's I do find it a bit disturbing. It's like these look like animals, and if you can do intimate stuff with them, like if you have characters like this, you can make great, yeah, sure, makes sense. Nothing particularly wrong with that, but like if you just or this, yeah, looks fine. But if it's actually like promoting bestiality, that is a bit disturbing to me. And like I saw a video of this from the Romanian guy, and he was trying to counter shame you, like people who have issues with this, that like he was straw manning basically, that they would have issue with any kind of um, romance dating simulation. But like no, if it's promoting bestiality, I have an issue with it. I'm not saying it should be banned or anything, but I'm just saying like people who actually want to play it unironically, there's something wrong with them. If I'm right about that, like I haven't played Palworld or anything, but my understanding is like Pokemon are basically like fantasy animals, and if these are animals and if you have sex with them, that's yeah, that's that's a bit fucked up to me. But hey, it's at least I'm curious to see like if it's really, or maybe it's just dating, like having fun. Maybe it's nothing lewd, then it's okay, I guess, if you have just play with cute animals or something, and I don't know, then fight with them to the death like you did during the game. uh, and then there's this Opera GX. So it's a browser. I didn't know Opera GX. I used to use, years and years ago, I used to use Opera and it was pretty good, but then it turned shit and I haven't touched it in years. And I saw this. So they say we're currently developing a feature that will remove any trace of grams from the web. So yeah, here his name is redacted and stuff. And I'm not sure if this is a April Fool's joke or not. At least it says it was yesterday, which wasn't on April Fool's. So, but it's like, and I'm not the biggest fan of grams or anything, but this is just sounds insane to I don't know have this like move over TDS. Now there's grams derangement syndrome. Like why is grams so I don't know significant that they go to these lengths to try to erase him from the internet? Like these people are insane. Well, maybe I'm missing something. about the like maybe it is just a joke that I don't really get. It's just so weird. Okay, and then there's Trench Crusade shed 9/10 of its audience to cater to people who will now call them xenophobic. So yeah, Trench Crusade is sort of like grim dark Warhammer 40k like world that the story is that in the Middle Ages during the Crusades, the Templars made some evil ritual or something, and all hell broke loose literally, and demons started possessing people. And then there's the normal humans versus the demons. They're fighting, and that's been going on for 1,000 years. And now it's like I guess like World War I era, and then you're supposed to fight with your armies and stuff. And the lore and stuff sounds actually quite cool, but then I heard about this, sometime last year, and then like 2 day, like I saw somebody talk about it on Twitter, and 2 days later, basically, I heard that okay, they're going full retard, and then they started, the community manager started, alienating people because okay, this game has like heavily relies on Christianity and Islam and stuff like that. This is obviously the target audience for a game like this would be more conservative or right wing than your progressive leftist, but apparently they prefer to have a leftist audience and want to alienate any people who might actually be interested in the game. So then it's like, oh well. So yeah, and they posted this map, and I think it looks cool. Like okay, it's not a fuzzy, it's small fuzzy image. You can make out much out of it, but the Arch, he made a video criticizing many of the details. But hey, I didn't look at it in detail, but I think it looks nice. But then one of these their so-called fan says, I would like to say I like it, but it is deeply Eurocentric, xenophobic as hell, so much that it literally does not disguise how much of it is just plain Orientalism and Islamophobia. So yeah, that's basically. So yeah, Trench Crusade. It might have been cool, but it might have been cool, but they went full retard, and now it's I don't know. But it's a train wreck in the making. So that's my basic interest in it. But that's the last story of tonight, and yeah, this stream was sort of a failure because for the last 10 minutes I've been just on Rumble. But hey, kudos to Rumble. Or is even Rumble working anymore? I guess it is basic, probably. Okay, but with that, because I don't know if not anybody can even hear me. So I'm Adventure Argonaut. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.